welcome to another episode of Mapping Charts. This is the third episode, and as you can see, we have a better camera now. My name is Alex, and you can find me on Ravelry as To Be Amazing, and I will include that like right over there, and also in the down bar. So basically, I am really excited that I am getting on a new, actual recording schedule. As you have seen, the second episode did not come out until maybe 6 or 7 months after the first, but I'm going to try to be more regular about this because I really enjoy doing this. So, and as you see, there's a new intro, there's no really hokey music anymore, just because I was kind of struggling to figure out how to make this authentic to me. And I love transportation and I love cities because that's what I do professionally. And I thought, well, why don't I just have cities and transpo be my little intro? So, and yeah, that kind of rhymed. I also figured out that one thing I really like about meetings is that I like having an agenda, and I thought it would probably be cool to have an agenda on the podcast as well. So probably somewhere around now, you will see what we will be discussing on the show today. So I am going to talk about my finished objects. I have two. I also have a work in progress. There's been a little bit of a stash acquisition, and I will be also talking about my fundraiser for Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and what I would like to knit next, and finally, life lately, because there's a ton of things going on now. So during Thanksgiving, my aunt told me at the table that she watches the podcast, so hi Nina, and she also said, Allie, I love you, but if this is going to be a knitting podcast, it probably should get straight to the knitting. And Nina, you are right about that. So we're going to go on to my first finished object. As you may have seen from last episode, I'm trying to do a handmade Christmas. And I, at first, did not feel very confident that I would get any of my gifts done. But over Thanksgiving break, because I took a couple of vacation days from work, I basically all I did was knit. So I was making for my mom the Something in the Air pattern by Locatelli, and I have finished it, as you see. So the yarn is from Briar Rose Fibers, and as you can see, it looks a lot better than last week. Sorry about that. There's a little bit of glare from the sun. But yes, it is all finished. I do not know the colorway. I will probably add that in the show notes. But as you see, we've got some blues and some purples. It's very, very tonal. It's not blocked yet. I plan to block it out with the Knitter's Pride knit blockers that I just got from Amazon. And but it's a really, really awesome cowl. I really want to make one for myself. And the funny thing is about cowls is that sometimes I get a little bored knitting them, and I almost kind of feel that knitting can be almost like running sometimes. You are so excited to start on your run. You have all these goals. It's going to be awesome. And the first few minutes, just like the first few rows, you are like, yes, I got this. And then it starts getting a little repetitive, and you're just like, okay, yeah, this is a really cool thing that I'm doing. I'm enjoying this, right? And then somewhere towards the middle, you're just like, okay, I know exactly where the donut shop is. I should just call it a day. I'm done with this. And which is my feelings towards the pattern around the row 20. I'm just like, I'm never going to finish this. How much investigation discovery do I have to watch until this cowl ends up being done? And but then you start hitting your stride because you realize that you are almost at the end, and you think, yeah, I am realizing my goal. This is the thing I like to do. And then you finish it, and then you finish your finished object as you finish your run, and you think, yeah, that all the pain was worth it. And that's kind of what I feel with my mom's cowl. And like now that it's finished, I really want to knit another one for me. And the yarn is 100% BFL. This is my first time ever working with BFL, so I'm really looking forward to soaking it in Eucalan. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's Eucalan, yeah, like, but I think maybe it's like Eucalan, like eucalyptus, but we'll see. Someone should correct me on that. And yeah, so I really can't wait to see like how it will condition out and how much wider it will get, because I don't really want to block it lengthwise. I know it goes past my belly button. My mom's a little bit taller than me. I'm 5'2" and she's 5'8", so maybe it will be maybe I could block. Maybe I'll block it out lengthwise just a little bit. But yeah, I just love blocking anything lace, so I'm really excited to do that sometime this week. And my other finished object is a thank you hat for my friend. We'll just call her B. I feel like a little weird like talking about people in the podcast just because they're not really involved in it, and I don't really have their permission to really talk about them personally. So I am just going to leave it at that. So this is for my friend B, who let me live with her for a few weeks while I'm waiting for my lease for my apartment to start up, and I have been wanting to knit the Lolo hat by Jared Flood from the Brooklyn Tweed Fall 15 collection for forever. And she's also with my, wanting to knit this for a really long time. I know that Blanca has, I already outed her name. So yeah, that's when I try to set a rule for myself and then it completely goes out the window. But that's when my friend B, she's always been asking me to knit her a hat, and she's been an amazing friend and a great mentor when it's come to my career. So I've been wanting to knit her something, and I thought, what better time than now? I mean, she did me an amazing favor, and I think that she deserves something warm and fuzzy. So yeah, this is the Lolo hat by Jared Flood. And I absolutely adore this thing. And it's also a very quick knit as well. This took me about 3 nights. The charts look intimidating at first, but as you get used to it, and especially towards the end of the charts, the pattern gets very repetitive. And other than keeping track of the rows with your row counter, that's pretty much like all the work you have to do. And sometimes you don't even need your row counter because it really does get that repetitive. So if you're looking for a really quick holiday knit, this is it. And I knitted this out of Manos del Uruguay that I bought from Patricia's Yarns in Hoboken, where I used to live. And I forget which colorway this is. I bought this yarn back in January when she had her Super Ball sale. So, but it's like this really pretty tonal pink. The lighting is kind of messing it up a little bit, but I hear that this is a really wonderful hat to wear under your bicycle helmet. Jared Flood recently posted that. I don't know about that yet since I haven't made one for myself, but I definitely will be. And so I don't know, maybe I will be able to support that claim or not pretty soon. But yeah, I just love the pattern, the lines that are going down with this. It's also, it's my second time doing a 3-needle bind off or a joinery bind off. Instead of basically towards the end of the hat, using when you're left with your remaining stitches, instead of pulling the yarn through, because I always find that I get a weird little hole in the middle. I like doing Kitchener stitch, so I did the Kitchener stitch, and it looks pretty uniform. It lays down pretty flat, and I'm just really excited to give it to her tomorrow. So thank you so much, B, for letting me live with you for a little bit. So yay! So this is done, and I love working with Manos del Uruguay Maxima. It's a single ply. It's very squishy, and it's just really wonderful. So yeah. However, I originally was going to have 3 finished objects, and because someone was a little bit overzealous, that did not happen. During Thanksgiving break, I made the decision to basically just maybe not so monogamously. Maybe I had another project on the side, but I just wanted to work on my mom's cowl and my stepdad's socks because I knew that they would be the most labor intensive because everyone else is getting hats and scarves, and I can, pretty much just churn those out without even thinking about it. Especially the Lolo hat. I'm telling you, again, do not be intimidated by that chart. It is pretty awesome. But yeah, I had thought that on Sunday night, last Sunday, that I would have finished the socks, and I did. I finished them on Sunday and at 11 o'clock, and I was so pumped. I had all of this anxiety thinking that I made the worst decision by promising everybody a handmade gift, and somehow, some way, it ended up happening. So anyway, as I am finishing the sock, I noticed that I dropped a stitch somewhere when I was decreasing, and that may have been a result of watching Home Alone while I was decreasing. So thanks, Macaulay Culkin. No, actually it's my fault. This is when knitting attacks. And I was like, okay, well, no biggie. I'm not going to rip out like 5 inches of a sock that I just seamed up just because I have a dropped stitch. I'm just going to weave that baby in and sew it. But you see, folks, this is why you shouldn't do things when you're tired. You should just leave it be until you wake up and you're conscious and you can think. Because when I was weaving it in, I just didn't like how it was turning out. It looked really uneven, and sometimes you could see a little bit of the weaving, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to, rip out the weaving and just start all over again against my better judgment, because it's now 11:30. And again, I really should have just laid this aside, but no, we had to finish it. So I'm taking the weaving yarn out, and I did it with such force that I accidentally picked up a stitch, and I didn't even know that this was even possible. But somehow, and I think maybe it was because like this had to do with the drop stitch, I ended up taking like a middle foundation yarn. I don't know the technical term for it, but anyway, it turned out that it was not the weaving yarn. It turned out to be whatever structure that was within the sock, because it completely ended up warping the sock. And I'm like, no, because we all know how long socks take to knit. And I usually do like sock knitting during my commute, so I'm like, oh no, all those days to and from work and Thanksgiving break, all for nothing. And I think, as knitters, we have to just, it's a slow craft, and you kind of just have to remind yourself that, yes, you can, as much as it's awesome to get things done quickly, sometimes when you're trying to get things done quickly, you'll end up messing up, and that's exactly what happened here. So my lesson that I'm taking back from this is, sometimes you need to rest and sleep, and maybe sometimes 11:30 at night is not the best time to knit. So what did I have to do? Well, since the entire sock was warped and there was really no way to fix it, because trust me, I tried, I had to cut the seaming out and rip out the yarn 5 inches back, and it was so painful. And the only thing that kept me going was just remembering how excited my stepdad was when he tried on the first sock, and he was just like, Allie, these are the nicest socks I have ever worn. I cannot wait for Christmas. So I just, out of my love for Jimmy, I was just like, I'm just going to keep knitting this through my commute, and yeah, I think I can probably be done with this today. So a week later, I end up being done with this, and it's just because of my own stubborn self. But if you did not watch last week's episode, this is knit out of Carodan yarn. or Carodan farm, and I got this at Rhinebeck. It is this really awesome green. I'm not so sure if you can see the true color in the light, but there's some red flecks in there that I really like. Oh, you can kind of see one right there. And it's really, really soft and really nice to work with. So, and he loved the way that the first sock was, so I have a feeling he will really like the pair. And it's also super wash because I know that with the way that my mom, my stepdad are, they really don't have the time to really like devote to washing a hand washing a hand knit. So I was really when it comes to socks, and you know that the recipient would probably really appreciate superwash, you should probably go with the superwash. So yeah, and I have like some left, so I'm looking forward to sewing this into my sewing this into what I was just talking about knitting this into my cozy memories blanket, and I'll probably have enough for swaps, which I'm really excited about. So yay, some other people get to work with the yarn. But again, things happen when you are impatient, and one of the things that I left behind when I left my parents' house was my chart keeper from Knit Picks. And I have no idea how I was able to complete the Lolo hat, which is only charted, without the chart keeper. It was not something it ended up being pulled off. I would not recommend it because I love the chart keeper. I got it's Knit Picks makes it, but I got it from Amazon. But you know, it just like there's magnets that kind of keep your place to show you like which row to knit next. It's so super handy, and I was just so happy when I got this back, because what I was doing was that I would kind of just like because I like working off of paper patterns, and what I would do is like take one piece of paper from the pattern and like kind of cover up like the other like rows that I didn't need to do. So yeah, it was not a picnic. So word to the wise, again, you know, be patient with yourself, otherwise things end up like not going the way that you want them to. So that is what I have for my work in progress, but there is a little bit of a stash acquisition. On Black Friday, I ended up going on yarn.com, which is the internet home of webs. I've never been there before, but I've heard a lot of knitters say that apparently it is like the yarn mecca. And just because I have some more Christmas knitting to do, but like I said, it's really all like Lolo hats and scarves and like other really simple things. So I'm pretty sure that I can get this all done. So yeah, I went on a little bit of a yarn haul, and it was really funny because I think as knitters, especially when we first start out, you're like, there's no way I'm ever going to have like a crazy stash, right? No, I'm only going to be a purposeful knitter, and I'm only going to buy the yarn that I need for that project. Oh no. It never ends up working out that way. So anyway, I ended up buying like 25 skeins of yarn, but yarn.com, I mean, Webs has a really nice discount where I'm also like knowing that seeing that my hands look really huge. I think that's just like the camera angle, because like in real life, like I really have like, I don't know, I'm trying, yeah, like really, really, really tiny hands. So I'm actually like a size 4 with my ring finger. So if I have like really like monstrous hands, it's kind of just like the camera angle that I'm working with right now, because right now this is being supported by 2 towels, a tea box, and the cell phone is being kind of like encapsulated in my laptop. So yay, ingenuity. So anyway, going back to what I'm knitting for the holidays, my nonna, which is grandmother in Italian, she is getting a Lolo hat out of the Malabrigo Marron Oscuro. So it's this really pretty brown. My aunt said that she would like a brown hat. And then for my Aunt Nina, she said that she wanted a white, so we have Malabrigo Natural. So that's going to look really nice. And then for my stepmom and my cousins, my stepmom said that she wanted black, but yarn.com didn't have black, so I decided that dark purple would be the next best thing. And she does like colors, so I was just like, okay, I think Anna would like a purple hat. So, and it's just like this really, really like awesome like tonal purple with a little bit like of hints of blues. And I really think like after seeing the first Lolo hat knit up, it's going to look really awesome. So I think that she'll be happy with it. And then my cousin Mary said that she would like something colorful, and my aunt also said that Mary and Angie, which are both her daughters, my aunt said that Angie would also like purple too, so they can choose which hat they like better since it's all going to be one size anyway. This is a nice light lilac from Malabrigo. This is the Orchid. So that's gonna look really, really pretty. And then there's this more of a purple Quarzo. So yeah, they'll get to choose which one they like better. And they always, they are pretty awesome sisters together. So I'm pretty sure that they'll be happy with whatever color that they choose for themselves. So I decided to splurge a little bit on yarn for him because he's my dad. Not saying that I don't love my other family members, I really, really do, but my dad's always talking about how he wants like something cashmere, and worsted cashmere is like really super hard to come by. So I went for the next best thing, which is Anzula for better or for worsted, and he said that he wanted it blue, so I got him the Mariana color. It's kind of showing up more teal than it actually is in real life, but it is, I believe, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and then 10% nylon. So I'm really looking forward to giving this to him and seeing how this will knit up for him. So yay! And then the rest of the male relatives are also going to be getting Fortnight hats, also in Malabrigo. So there's the Azul Profundo, and my uncle, Renato, is going to get. Renato is, he is your like typical, classic Sicilian man, and it's the man loves Robert De Niro, fast cars. He is, everything that you can imagine a Sicilian man. I feel like Renato is just like the epitome of it. And Sicilian men, they tend to be drawn toward the color red, so it's within the flag. And so I decided, well, he deserves a red hat. I think this is going to look really awesome on him. And for my Nono, I decided to get him a nice dark olive. It's this really awesome green, and Sicilians love their olives. Let me tell you, my family has been force feeding me those babies since I could even like chew solid food. So and my Nono, he brings Sicilian olives every single holiday. So that's why I really wanted to give him the olive colorway, just because it's a really big thing in our family to eat olives, because it's just what the Italians do. And for like my brothers, they're gonna they're gonna get some hats and scarves, and from Brooklyn Tweed. And I guess like next podcast I'll talk more about that, because it's just going to be really way too involved. So we'll have something to talk about for next week. So So next, I want to talk about if anybody is interested. I'm running in the New York City Marathon next year. I'm really super excited about this, and as I mentioned before, I think that knitting is a lot like running, which is why I really enjoy it so much. It's just that it's a slow process, but it's something that you get better with time, and I raised money for Doctors Without Borders when I participated in the TD5 Borough Bike Tour in May, where I biked 40 miles throughout New York City. And it was probably like the most, I'm already can't wait till the registration for the next bike tour opens up. And Doctors Without Borders is one of my favorite charities to support. When I was little, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I absolutely fell in love with politics. But even still, I know that with the airstrike that killed Doctors Without Borders staff and their patients in Afghanistan, though I'm really happy that I was able to raise money for them so they could help rebuild. And that's what I love about raising money for charity. It really requires you to put yourself out there, and especially, asking your family and friends to give, which is not really the most comfortable conversation to have, because, this is something that you feel very passionate about, but maybe people don't, and that's absolutely all right, because as you get older, you just really appreciate the different strokes for different folks. We're all doing what we can to make our lives easier and better, and but to my friends who do support, I'm very appreciative to them. And for the marathon, I am going to support Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City, which is, I believe it's the number 2 hospital in the States that you can go for cancer treatment, excuse me. And I am specifically supporting their lung cancer research division. And the reason why I'm doing this is because my father and my brothers smoke. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a smoker when I was in college, but I quit when I was 23 because I was getting more athletic, and I was just like, and more environmentally conscious, and I was like, Alex, why are you doing this? So I quit cold turkey, and I haven't, it's been 5 years now, which I'm really happy about. Especially when you're working in politics, like it seems like everybody smokes there, so it was just kind of like the norm. And I'm really glad that that's not part of my life anymore. But the thing is, I'm still exposed to carbon monoxide. Living in urban New Jersey and New York City, you're like, as a pedestrian, you're exposed to car fumes all the time. And I'm a commuting cyclist, and I can't even tell you like how many times I'm like right behind a car at a stoplight, and I'm just thinking, man, this is probably not very healthy for me to breathe in. And actually, one of my friends, when he was at university, for his thesis project, he used GPS trackers, and I think that they put like GPS trackers on bicyclists, and they measured like how much smog the cyclists would experience to see like where like the air pollution is along bike lanes and bike routes. So I want to do whatever it takes to support more research, especially because one of my former campaign volunteers, and she was one of my best, and we hit it off incredibly. And I'm going to try not to be a little emotional, but she's a knitter too, and we really connected on that. And she's not a smoker at all, but she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she has fought this battle really, really bravely. And she has been putting herself into pharmaceutical trials, again, trying really hard not to cry. But yeah, it was it was really hitting, because she's somebody who's really passionate about everything that she does, and she introduced me to what Rhinebeck was. I had no idea that, as a lifelong resident of New York State, I didn't even know that there was a sheep and wool festival until she told me that there was. And I see what is possible with this research money, that we can try to find cures that can help mitigate the effects of cancer. So that's why I am, committed to raising $3,500 by next November, so we can help put more money towards a cure. So if you would like to join me, I'm going to put the link right somewhere around there, but I'm also going to put it in the down bar as well. And even if you can only donate like $1 or $5, I'm totally serious when I say this, like every little bit helps. And I think we're at like 408 right now. So I always say, like, if 109 people donate $10, then we've hit our halfway goal of $1,500. So yeah, that would be awesome. So thank you so much for listening to that part. And whether you support or not, like I said, we all got to do what we need to do. And I understand that money's tight, and it's just the way it is. So I'm just appreciative for either you listening or you donating, or you doing both. So thank you. So anyway, what I would like to knit next, as you see, I am knitting a lot for other people, but I'm not going to lie, I really want to start knitting stuff for myself. But I keep remembering, as I saw with my mom, like when she saw me working on her cowl, or like my stepdad when he had that one sock and he just thought it was the greatest thing in the whole world. I'm just kind of remembering that people are going to be really, really happy, and it's going to make me feel really good because I love them and I love seeing them happy. So the sacrifice of not knitting something for myself will be worth it. But once I am done with my Christmas knitting, I am totally knitting a Lolo hat for myself. I think I'm going to knit it out of Catskill Merino. They usually have a booth at the Union Square Farmers Market, and it's the wool is all sourced from upstate New York. They are great farmers. I've talked with them so many times about about their practices, and I really want to support them by buying a skein of worsted weight yarn. And like Jared Flood has touted, this is something that can fit under a bicycle helmet, so I want to put that to the test. So yeah, I want to do that. I also want to make a cowl for myself. I think I'm going to do the Joji Locatelli 3-color cashmere cowl, except I'm not going to knit it with cashmere because girlfriend's a state worker and also got to pay student loans and is moving into a new apartment. So cashmere yarn's not so much in the budget right now, but I'm going to I ripped out like a scarf that I did last year that I made out of Koigu KPPPM, which is their fingering weight, and I'm just going to knit it out of that. So I think I'm going to hopefully start that project in January. That would be really awesome. And another project that I have coming down the pike is the Little Dude sweater. I think it's by Andrea Rangel. My friend Dee is a huge fan of The Big Lebowski. It's something that I really enjoy as well, especially because the new apartment that I'm moving to, in the basement, there's an actual bowling alley. Yeah, there's a bowling alley in my new building. I don't really know how that really came into fruition with the architects being what this building really needs. A bowling alley. So I'm really excited to get my Big Lebowski on, except I really don't think I'm going to be going that crazy, like how John Goodman goes, if you've seen the movie. And but he has wanted a Little Dude sweater for his baby daughter, and he bought the yarn from it, and he also donated to my fundraiser too. So I'm really looking forward to getting that done by the end of January, because he's awesome and his family's awesome, and I really and the sweater involves steeking, and I've never steeked before. So I'm hoping, I'm really excited to start. So yay! For upcoming events, I am hoping to go to Vine Yarn's trunk show this Saturday in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And I went to her trunk show in September, and I'm a huge fan of Kirsten. I remember when I was trying to see if like knitting podcasts are out there, and hers was the first one that I stumbled on. And I just, she is, like I said, I think I said I wrote a blog post about like my crafting goals for 2016, and I'll also put that in the down bar. But she is really just as down to earth as she is in person, as she is in her podcast. And I really like supporting her, and I really want to try to see if I can snag like a sweater's worth of fairy hair, because I really want to knit a featherweight cardigan out of that. I think it would just be absolutely dreamy. So I'm going to try to do my best to see what I can get, and also stop by Gauge Intention, because it's in a really, really cool area of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. It's very, very crafty, and I just love the vibe of the whole thing. I got to meet like a ton of other knitters, and it's just really cool just getting to meet everyone. So I'm really, really excited about that. And yeah, so I guess now we are up to life lately. And Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes, she had one of her episodes entitled Knitting as Comfort Food, and I feel that I'm probably going to really be relying on knitting as comfort food this week, because this week seems to be where all the holiday parties are being planned, including one that I am planning for our professional group. I've been working on it for the past month, and now I just need to it's my first event that I've ever planned for them since being elected as programs chair, and I'm hoping that everybody has a really, really good time and gets to chill out. So I mean, it's a really, really awesome group. The one thing I love about like the whole transportation profession is that we're all really supportive of each other, and everyone's like so buddy. We did a hike in October where everybody got really, really close with one another, and it was like this perfect event. Like, I mean, if you're ever thinking about having like a really cool get together with like coworkers or colleagues or people you volunteer with, go out and hike in the woods, because you'll really be able to talk with them one-on-one and get to really look at some really cool mountains. And especially in the autumn, we went to the Mount Beacon Fire Tower, and we took Metro North up, and it was just such a lovely time. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. But the funny thing is, as much as an extrovert as people say that I come across as, I'm actually really like deep inside of me, I am as introverted as they get. I love quiet time. I love alone time just as much as I love hanging out with everybody who, like, with my family and friends. But I need to recharge a little bit. And I think it's like, especially as I get older, I feel that, like with college, like it was just like, oh, you're going out and you're like hanging out with your roommates, and it's just like you're always like kind of surrounded by people. But I feel like, I mean, as it goes, I mean, as we get older, like our bodies get more tired, and I know that that's really true with me. So I'm definitely going to be relying on knitting as comfort food, because I've been reading like these studies that I like coloring is good for you, and also like that knitting is also really good for like memory retention, since we're like looking at patterns all the time. So, and I'll try to link to some articles about that in the down bar, but I just really, it just really makes me feel good, like touching textures and like looking at different colors. It definitely gets like the endorphin rush within me. So, and it's also like really cool, like creating. I think that there's like this some sort of function in our brain that just like creating something out of just like this skein, it just makes us feel good. Even when it's like your first scarf and it turns out to be this big entire mess, but still you learned how to knit. So yeah, like I just cannot, I know that as soon as I'm done socializing and like hanging out with my friends, I will be like boo 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 on the train and all that fun stuff. So yeah, and I see different location. I'm living with another friend, and and Jersey City is really awesome. I have always wanted to live here, but I found my apartment in Newark, and I wanted to move back to Newark. So yeah, but I'm enjoying my couple of weeks living here, and I'm doing a bike commute to and from the pass station. I'm biking on one the main arterial roads in Jersey City, which is a little bit frightening. But one of my friends who I'm also living with here, he does it every day, and so I'm just it's not really that bad. I always like to say this when anybody tries a cycle commute: just do what you can. If you're not comfortable with something, it's better not to I say if you're biking on a really, really busy road for the first time, it's probably best to do it with somebody else. Just because number one, any true cyclist is not going to leave you behind. I know that if I was biking out with a friend, I'm not going to think any less of them if they don't feel comfortable with something. I know that sometimes I bike on the sidewalk because I feel unsafe. And it's just, I it's almost like knitting, we're all at different levels, and what may be easy for one person may not be easy for another. I know that I took the bus back home just because last night, because I didn't feel comfortable biking back really late at night. So it's all, it's just definitely whatever your comfort range is what you would say. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, then go for it. But yeah, just so I'm and it's definitely opened up my eyes, because I'm also a very big transportation advocate. And I really feel like this main arterial road, I see cyclists, people bike up and down all the time, and they usually are on the sidewalks. And I know that this is a knitting podcast and not a transportation podcast, but if you guys ever want me to talk more about transpo, and I can definitely include that as a feature. But if not, I'm not going to go on my crazy high horse, because once you get me started, I swear to God, I cannot stop. So yeah, it's definitely opening my eyes up to some problems, and I hope to work with our advocacy groups to try to make life better for everybody. So yeah, but going on that, yeah, I'm moving to Newark in a few weeks. I'm so excited. Like I mentioned before, I used to live there, and I work in Newark, and I'm really excited to move back, because it also has a long way to go with its bike network, and there's this really fabulous cycling advocacy group there that I'm hoping to join and get the good work done. So I'm really, really pumped about that, and I'm just so this is going to be nothing but good. And I know that Newark as a city, it had, in recent years, not even recent years, pretty much for most of its life, it's been known as this, people just don't have a good connotation about it. And I've had friends not want to visit me when I lived in Newark, because I lived in Newark, even though I lived in a really nice part of Newark. But it's really a very, very charming city with good people. And, I'm definitely looking forward to, contributing to it again, and just showing that it's really, if you open up your eyes, you can see all of these really awesome things if you just let yourself, expand your horizons a little bit. So I am really looking forward to that. So, but with me signing the lease this week, this is my first time furnishing a bedroom. I haven't furnished a bedroom since 2011, because I was on a pretty major campaign in 2012, which required me to live in Florida for about 8 or 9 months. And as a result, I had to end up giving my mattress to my sorority sister, and to the furniture I didn't want, I donated, and then the rest of my stuff I kept in storage until I was able to move it to my grad school apartment at Rutgers. But I lived in on-campus housing, so most of it was most of the room came furnished. So I've been yeah, so this is, and then my room in Hoboken also came furnished. So with this new room, I'm starting from nothing, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to decorate for the first time, but of course, I'm trying to try to do this as much of a budget as possible. I kind of feel like I'm on like trading spaces where like I have to like whether there's like a dollar amount, or maybe like Love It or List It, where like Heidi, is that her name? I don't know. It's a really cool British lady though. Like, you know, she's given this one budget that she can't go over, and so I am planning like sometime within the next 2 weeks, like taking the bus out to IKEA, and I already have my little wish list about like what I want in a bed. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I kind of want something with a headboard so I can kind of like lean against it. And maybe something comfy, like so while like I'm knitting in bed, like my like I don't know, like I don't have like some like the bed frame like going into me, but I don't know. But then again, like with something upholstered like that, you kind of like need to vacuum it, and I don't kind of know what kind of care goes into it, so I don't know, like all will be revealed soon. But so I definitely need a bed frame and a mattress. I would also like a desk that's big enough not only for my research but also something that I can also like craft on, so it's like where I can put my Swift and my ball winder and my sewing machine. And so something that's kind of conducive to that, and maybe like a nice comfy chair, because like I know that there's like it's good, a decent sized bedroom, which I'm like super pumped about. So I'm gonna be able to do a lot with it. So I'm also thinking about maybe like a nice like comfy chair to like knit in. So hello IKEA and Target, I am gonna be your best gal in the next couple of weeks. So yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. If you watched the whole thing, thank you so much. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you again for watching and sticking with me. You know, I definitely hope that this is, I definitely hope that this is a positive contribution to the community. And yeah. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything more else to say, except I hope to be back next week. Maybe with talking about like how the trunk show went and if I was able to nag any swag from that. So anyway, I hope that everybody has a really pleasant week. I hope that everyone's having a good time with their holiday knitting if you're doing that, and a really good holiday season. So until next time, everyone, I will see you later. Bye.